How's it going, everybody? Today's video is going to be extremely different because we're going to be talking about an entirely different game, King Arthur Legends Rise. I've been having so much fun playing this game, and its global launch is right around the corner, November 27th, so I figure I'd share with you everything I've learned about the game, what the game has to offer, and hey, maybe there's going to be a super cool content creator that you already happen to follow from Marvel Strike Force that if you do decide to play this game, you might want to follow his adventure on that one too. Let's get into it though. I think you're going to enjoy this. Alright guys, so here we are in game. Before we jump into all the various bosses and game modes and progression paths, I think it's important to just take a quick look at, well, what kind of gameplay are we setting ourselves up for. So let me grab, sure, just a regular gameplay node. Let's go against Sigrun here. This is like a mini boss, I guess. It's the final chapter or final node in one of the chapters. So let's jump in here and you can kind of see the gameplay, right? We saw it early on the screen. Team of 4 players, that's our makeup. There's a leader with some leader abilities. All the other characters there as well. The leader can shift depending on who you want to put in there to get their leader ability. But this is the general gist of the gameplay. It is like old school RPG turn-based strategy game, which I really like. You see the bottom right corner, we see my character portrait. This is Merlin. These are his 3 abilities. They cost a certain amount of mana in this game that's called Vigor. And then it's going to do something, right? So let me slow it down so you can kind of see the beauty of the game. I'm also turning the dynamic camera on because some people like that. But then I'll switch it back to the standard landscape mode that I like. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this ability. As the ice rains down, we see those damage numbers. Always really fun to see that kind of stuff. And now you see the Vigor drop down from 5 to 2. It's a new character's turn. It goes back to 3. So now I can do this character's abilities. We'll go ahead and I'll just throw the basic instead. So you see now he actually earned another Vigor. So this is something in the gameplay I really like. Instead of characters having like cooldowns on their abilities that are rigid, say I wanted to keep using Merlin's ultimate over and over and over again, I can do that by having the other characters around him use their basics, right? Okay, we'll go ahead and use Iso's ultimate here. I think this is really nice as well. It just looks really nice. She's a healer. It doesn't do that much damage. I'm on a really low difficulty right now just to show it. Mini boss time, right? So this is a mini boss. This is Sigrun. It's just the same sort of gameplay though. That's not super fun, right? Like, we want something special from our boss fights, don't we? Well, it don't get much more special than this. Chrom! Alright, so Chrom's interesting gameplay mechanic because it's not just the straight, you know, the environment changes depending on the bosses you're fighting, which I think is really cool. So what happens here? Well, he swallows up 3 of your members right away, a random 3. He could have swallowed up my 3 damage dealers and left my healer, right? And what I need to do now is I need to do damage so that that life bar you see at the top there hits those triggers and he spits them out. So this is some interesting gameplay on like an epic boss fight. Right, so luckily my Lancelot is giant, so he does a bunch of damage. I am on a super low difficulty right now. If this was the hard difficulty, I can't even touch this boss yet. I'm working on it. It's gonna be fun. There we go. Big damage comes in. I love the animations. They put a lot of effort into that. Continue our assault. Boom. And of course, if you just want to get your gameplay in a hurry, you can turn the speed up on the game. So that was ×1. I kind of like playing at ×1 just because of how nice the game looks. But playing at ×3 will get you there faster, for sure. Still need him to spit out my other character. He'll do it if I take his life down before his turn anyway. There you go. And that's it. We beat a big boss, right? You know, did we though? Or is there phase 2? I still think that's epic when I see it. That's so cool. So this is an example of one of their higher end bosses. There's a bunch of other bosses. Why don't we go take a look at a bunch of them? Alright, so that was an example of a really cool boss. but it's definitely not the only boss. Bosses are actually what really kind of sold me on this game and made me want to play it and made me want to cover it, because there are so many of them and they all offer something new, which is cool. So here we are in the restricted section. I just went into the power-up dungeon, and we see 4 different bosses here. We got a boar, we got a gorgon, we got a polar bear, and we got a saber-tooth tiger. Each is going to be rewarding me a different progression paths, materials, so I know I got to push them all evenly, and they all come with different difficulties, all the way up to level 10 for the beast. And what is the saber-tooth? Does he go up to 10 as well? He also goes up to 10. Definitely a harder boss to push than the boar, let me tell you. But each boss also has different gameplay mechanics that they want. The boar, he's got a barrier. You got to break the barrier before you can hurt him, and he will reapply that barrier after a certain amount of turns. The gorgon, he'll put a dot on you, and if you don't dispel that dot, he'll flame breath all over you and murder you. So what's the idea there? You want to keep yourself debuffed, and you want, or debuff free, I guess is a better way to say it, and you want to put dots on him, because damage over time effects are super effective on him. The polar bear, well, he needs a heal block because he's going to hibernate on you. He's going to full heal, and you don't want that to happen. And the saber-tooth tiger will rip you to shreds unless you can control his speed. He's the only boss, I think, that you can control his speed. So we want to Terminator rewind him, we want to get slows on him, and then we want to be able to take him out lickety-split. After that, of course, we got dragons. We got 3 different dragons giving 3 different kind of gear sets. The final one here, Arcellus, is actually dropping 3 kind of unique gear pieces, which we'll talk about when we get to progression path stuff. But that's a slew of bosses, right? Clan raids is kind of repeating the bosses we just talked about, but they're bigger, they're stronger, they're badder, and you're facing them with your entire clan, which is the group, the community group you're going to associate yourself with in the game. Forbidden Dungeon, this is another game mode. So instead of a tower mode where you climb up, which I think a lot of hero collectors do, we have a dungeon where we're going to climb down. You see right now, I'm stuck on B30, the spider queen here. I know how to beat her. I need some heal block. I need some, make sure I can't get mind controlled, because I crush her damage-wise, but then she heals up, and then she mind controls my guys, and they kill themselves. So I know how to beat this. I don't know why I'm trying to justify why I'm only on basement level 30. But it's a fun mode as well with different bosses you'll fight along the way. Favorite dungeon. So this is going to be a game mode where you have to use characters of the same faction. As you can see here, there's 6 different factions. Not every single dungeon is going to be open every single day, except I think on Sundays they're all open. If I'm not Sundays or Saturdays, they're all open. And this is where you're going to get a certain material to increase your character's awakened level. So this is kind of cool. The serpent I haven't pushed very much because I haven't really leveled up any serpent characters very far. And then finally, the sealed temple. I wish I could show this to you, but I got antsy and I just did it for the day. So you saw this boss in action a second ago, but this is another really cool boss. And these are kind of the 2 biggest bosses in the game. They have like really fun cinematic moments within the fight. They're really intricate in what's going on. These fights are fun and they're very important. So this guy is going to be giving you like ability materials to increase your character's abilities. And Crom is going to be giving you ability materials to increase your weapons abilities, which is pretty cool. Besides that, we have other game modes as well that we should talk about. So that was a whole bunch of bosses. And the Dungeon Descent is kind of a mix between regular game fights and boss fights. We have the main story, which you should definitely take your time and enjoy. It's a really good narrative. It's just really fun. And then we have the adventure mode. The adventure mode kind of shows a little bit of like what the main story was like, but then it repeats it after you've beaten it for the first time. And there's other aspects that are really cool here. Oh, let me go ahead and skip this and back out. So this is kind of cool. Like, it's a dungeon crawler style thing. I can pull the map up and like I want to explore all the different parts here because there's going to be different kind of secret chests and there's quests and stuff to do. But if you don't like that aspect of a hero collector, which, I mean, this is a brand new thing in a hero collector that I've never seen before. But if you don't want to take part in that, then you can just hit these buttons here and it will auto-run you to everywhere. You won't get the chest doing that. Well, I guess it did just bring me to a chest. That's kind of cool. Woohoo! So if you don't want to do this, then you just click on those and it's going to kind of bring you from spot to spot to spot, just progressing you through the adventure. Because progressing you through the adventure mode is really important for your estate. This is a sort of game mode. I guess it's more of like a progression path, but let's talk about it. So this area, this UI HUD, whatever you want to call this, where we get to kind of see, you know, our various stores and stuff like that, we can actually level these things. So you see market is level 3, Forge is level 4, and my castle is level 9. Well, this is how the game, I think this is what they wanted to do. This is how it kind of gives you a helping hand on what you should be doing in the game based on where you're at. So if I want to level my castle from level 9 to level 10, here's a bunch of things that like, oh, you should go do this. Like, you haven't done this yet. You should go get this done. And it's going to kind of help you learn the game better, learn mechanics better, learn, you know, resource progression, material collection, all that stuff a lot better. It's a nice organic way to do it. For instance, it wants me to reach market level 4. Well, if I go ahead over there, I've already started this, by the way. My market will get a higher level. I actually don't know what it means when it gets a higher level. Items for sale. Oh, I guess there you go. It'll increase the items from sale from 10 to 12. So I'll have more options, which is kind of cool. Does it tell me what else it does? There you go. It's going to increase the amount of items that I get to see, which is great because if I go in here, I can see like at the market, I can buy all kinds of different progression path stuff. So from bosses, I'll farm certain bits, but then I can come here to the market and I can be like, oh, I can just grab that one now. That's great, right? So that's kind of organic, the estate stuff. Next, the arena. So yeah, I mean, every game has an arena, right? This is where you put your 4 best characters, hopefully with some interesting mechanics to the test, up against some enemies, and you try and climb through the arena. I've been slacking on this. I really need to put more effort into here. I should not be bronze 2 with my team. You can see the enemies are like 16k if I were to fight one of them. My team's 30,000. I just haven't sat down to do it yet. Which I should, because there's good resources in the rewards, both daily and seasonal. Okay, besides that, the Stone's Workshop, I haven't actually visited that much. Oh, there's a theater, so you can kind of revisit the story. I don't want to ruin this for you, but these are like really cool cutscenes. Definitely worth the watch. I had so much fun just doing the story itself. Even if you don't want this game to be like a long-term play thing, like you play in the end game, play the story. Because the story is really fun and really interesting. Besides that, I guess we got to talk about progression paths now. There's a lot of progression paths. You saw how many bosses there were. Each boss caters to a different progression path. So it can be easy to get overwhelmed, but the game does a really good job in kind of guiding you through it in a way that makes sense. So let me grab my Ain here. The game is going to start you off with just 2 progression paths. That's going to be your levels and your level break. So you can see here, beside her, or underneath her name, she's level 10 out of 20. She can only go to level 20, so let me go ahead and level that up. This is the first progression path you see. And your characters can gain levels just by using them in battle. It just takes a lot longer. But now she's level capped. She's at the max, but she's not really the max. We can awaken her. So this is a resource I would get from the board. Now I can awaken her, boom, and now I can bring her to max level 30, so on and so forth, all the way up to level 60, which is going to be the cap. So that's kind of like the first progression path they want you to focus on. Not all the way up to 60 right away, but definitely while you're progressing through the story. Then you have the Awaken feature. This is going to put a purple star on top of your yellow star. You have to have a yellow star to put the purple one on it. And you can see what it's going to give me underneath. So if I put the 3rd star on this character, I'll get the Magic Orb unlocked, which is another new gear piece. We'll talk about gear in a second. And it's going to increase the stats, which is really cool. Skill level up. We talked about the one boss over there. This is what you do to level up your character skills. If you want to see what those character skills are, you can just go ahead and click through here. You can see what everything is. And then here's your chivalry. Okay, here's the dirtiness of the game, right? There is a whale mechanic, and chivalry is definitely that whale mechanic. So, as you pull dupes for characters, you're able to come into this system, and basically you sacrifice those dupes into your character and increase their chivalry level. These chivalry levels are really, really impactful. The good news is it's easier to get a lot of common characters and a lot of rare characters, and so it's easy to chivalry those characters up, and they're actually really impactful. You don't really need to wait on legendary characters to progress through the game, which I think is great. We'll open up a couple things there before we end this video. All right, the equipment. The equipment is what equipment is in a lot of these games, right? This is going to be your RNG path to customizing your character, making your character unique as opposed to all the other characters. So far, everything we've seen is a very linear progression, and it's dictated, the amount of stats it gives you, the effects it does. It's all very prescribed. Your gear is going to be that X factor where you get to design the character. So let me just look at this helmet right here. This helmet is a defense helmet. It is a 2 set, so if I have 2 different defense pieces on, I'll get that set bonus, and I'm going to get the various stats we see here. And I can level up gear, and you can see it's going to increase the value of that gear. I don't want to do too much because I want to save some of my resources. I don't have very much right now. And then you'll gear up your character, get the kind of sets you want, get the kind of stats you want for different reasons, different bosses, different camping pushes, whatever the case may be. And that's how gear works. Relics. Relics is a super interesting part of this game. I'm actually going to choose a different character for this. Let me go over to ISO. She's got an interesting one. So ISO has 2 weapons unlocked. They don't come unlocked. You have to unlock them. So I believe she actually starts with her Healing Winds staff. And this makes her a storm character. There's 3 different elements in the game. Storm, ice, fire. One is weak to one and powerful to the other. And it's just a triangle, right? We kind of saw that. The effects that she gets when she's using her storm staff are different than her frost staff. So let's look at the ultimate here. So the ultimate. Heal all allies, healing 7%, removes 1 dot from all allies, and grants all allies recovery over time for 1 turn. Now, if I equip her frost weapon instead, it's now going to attack all enemies. So it changes the actual character, depending which weapon you use. So there's a lot of characters, but the weapons make them brand new. But these weapons also have their own progression path. So you see here, this rare Oath of Frost is level 50 out of 50. It's got 2 purple stars, 5 yellow stars. If I go over to the green one, level 1 out of 10, 1 yellow star. So if you do want to kind of switch your character, you do have to level this aspect. And leveling these things is not super difficult. It's really easy to understand. So let's just take the Healing's Wind option here. This is a different resource. You get this from killing the polar bear. I can go ahead and max it up to level 10. Perfect. And this is going to seem really familiar from what we talked about earlier, because now I level break it, right? So it's stuck at level 10, level break it, boom. Now I can bring it up to level 20. I also have a different awakened part here. This I get from the tiger. It puts a purple star on, and it's going to increase its effects. And then each weapon has skills. That's the Crom fight we saw at the very end of the Sacred Temple there. And away you go. And that's the progression paths, guys. So there's a lot there, right? I think, what do we need? Like 13 different progression paths. But it happens organically in the game, and it's easy to understand. And it's really easy to know where I need to go to do a certain progression path. Come here, I see the 4 different things. Super easy to comprehend with that, right? All right, I think that's all I really want to talk about in this first video. The next video, I'll talk about like the best steps when you're starting the game. But I'm interested to know how you guys feel about what you've seen so far. First of all, do you like the graphics? Do you like the gameplay? And do you like the bosses? That's what sold me on the game the most. So I really want to hear back from you guys about that. But before we go, though, let's go do a character opening. All right, so if you played any other gacha game, you kind of know where we're going with this one. This will be your orb opening, your character unlocks, however you want to call that. And we're going to be using special tickets to try and unlock characters and or weapons. Actually, you know what? Let's open this this one right now. I actually have no idea what I would want from this, but any sort of legendary would be great. Oh, we got one too. Oh, shoot. Here we go. Who's it going to be for? Okay, so it's showing in the right corner. You can't see it. So that was for Luke, Bjorn. That was for Lot. Lot is one of the big villains of the game. Cool, Dragon Strike. All right, that's kind of exciting. Not sure how to feel about that, to be honest with you. Maybe maybe we can carry that luck over with our orb opening here. Okay, so with all these characters, there is like a pity timer. So I think it's 50. Once you open to 50, you're guaranteed to get a legendary. 50%, it'll be the rate up hero. 50%, it'll be any other legendary character. Any legendary character you pull will refresh your pity timer, which is unfortunate because maybe you're not going to get the character, but it's unlikely if you open 50, you probably will get them. One thing, the tip, I guess I'll give before we do any sort of guide videos is always open up your orbs in 10s. Never do solo orbs openings because you get a guaranteed rare character. And the rare characters can be extremely powerful and really good for bosses, especially in the early game. Only open by 10s. All right, come on, show us yellow. Show us that beautiful yellow. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Oh, we only got one blue too. Yikes. I don't know how to feel about this guy. I haven't really done much on him. You know what though? We got enough gems. Let's be silly. because I know we're about to hit the pity timer. Here we go, guys. Let's see what legendary character we're gonna pull. Boom! The yellow! We got two! We got two! Oh, I hear she's really good. He's really good too. He's great on the Gorgon boss. He does a good dot and a good dot removal.
Good intentions do not guarantee good results.
Hey, that's the raid up character. I really like him. He hits super hard. He's one of my main 4 guys I use in like arena and brute force modes, like adventure and all that. Sick. All right, who is the other one?
You have the fire in your heart.
Oh, he's one that you get for free. But I've upgraded him quite a bit. A lot of people don't like Tristan. I really like him. He's got a slow. He's got multiple hits. I really like him as a character. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And you guys take care now. You know, stay happy, stay healthy, have fun. If you want to follow along with the King Arthur adventures, check in the description. Unless you're on the King Arthur channel, then just hit that sub button. We're going to have a lot of fun playing this game. And I hope you come along with me for the ride. Stay happy, stay healthy, have fun. Goodbye, everybody. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.